You were saying about the distance between the Francis
Aye,
and the Seafield.
if you can visualise, there's a shaft in Kirkcaldy, demolished of course now, and the other one is up, it dies up in the headland. The distance between them is perhaps 3 miles on land, but with the way that the mine workings under the Forth stretch out in various directions, the distance between the 2 points they wanted to connect was approximately 4.5 miles. To correlate between the surface and the underground, you know the coordinates of the 2 shafts, but once you go down underneath, the surveyor has got to take angles, measurements, gradients, and work out the coordinates of the 2 points, and thereby, by simple Pythagoras, you can calculate the angle that you're going to drive it. And this was done from both ends, and the drivage of 4.5 miles joined up, and the 2 lines of sight, which was controlled by lasers, were separated by 25 millimetres. So it gives you an idea of the accuracy of the technical side in mining.
You were talking earlier about mines being nationalised in 1947. Could you expand on that?
Well, prior to that, various private mining companies, you had Lochgwelly Iron and Coal Company, the Fife Coal Company, you had companies in Stirling, Alloa, and the Labour government decided to nationalise them. So on the 1st of January 1947, a sign went up, this colliery is now operated on behalf of the people. That's perhaps not the correct words, but thereafter it was a national industry, but that actually inherited an industry which had been deprived of any investment. Mechanisation was minimal, working conditions were abysmal, hire and fire was quite cruel at times, because to give an example, the manager across at Newton Grange Colliery, he had a table which was called the green table, covered in green baize, and one miner came in and he said to him, well, tell me your son's leaving school on Friday. He'll be starting the pit in one? No, he's not starting here, he's going to go to college. Oh no, well, he says, if your son doesn't start in the pit on Monday, he says, you're out your house. Your brother's out of his house, and all the rest of your family are out of their house and out of the job. And that's the sort of power that these men held. And this was the thing that the NUM, the Miners' Union, fought, and luckily transformed the working conditions, where it was a more democratic thing. Perhaps you might say that the pendulum swung too far, and strikes were, quite rife, because pre-nationalisation, they couldn't have strikes, so they would always a job. But the NUM certainly bettered the situation of the miners. And because of the history of the mining, when these strikes in 1921-26, the miners had fought together to create the Union of Mine Workers, and this solidarity was tremendous. Even yet, the miners in Durham, they have a miners' gala which celebrates the industry. They had brass bands, pipe bands at each colliery. And the social life as well. The Gothenburg's public houses were organised for miners, and that was a meeting house where men sat and told stories and things like that. And because of the compactness of the mining industry, this huge family existed, which unfortunately does not exist now, because industry now is in isolated pockets where you've got small electronics works, you've got various small industries, but there's not that huge industry which encompasses all these men, various trades, and it's something that's sadly missing now.
Do you feel that Fife has lost its kind of identity because they've lost being known as a coal mining industry?
Yes, very much so. Fife is quite a pleasant county now. In my time, the land was corrupted with pit bings, the rivers were all contaminated with mine waste, there were no fish in them. The rivers and the streams now are clean. You have fish coming in, you have salmon coming in. All the pit bings have disappeared. The notable improvement was what's called the meadows down in the Lahore district, where the bings of Glen Craig Colliery and the Mary Colliery were actually, in spite of the fact they were burning because of spontaneous combustion, were actually shifted by earth moving equipment and infilled to create what is now a very pleasant leisure facility at the meadows. And any visitor coming to Fife nowadays can't see any indication of the muck and the grime that existed there 25 years ago. And I have a friend from Wales, Aberfan, who comes up here, and he's amazed that there's no pit bings to be seen. And it's quite a pleasant land. You've got sport, you've got holidays, you've got the East Coast, St Andrews Golf, world famous. A lot of golf courses. There's Cowdenbeath waste ground was formed into a golf course with pit waste. So it was a first class thing. The sad thing is that we're still sitting on top of millions of tons of coal